Hey everyone. Yeah, you just know. And every time I give the CBC, the folks at the CBC, even the slightest chance to try to redeem themselves, right? To try to come around and stop being a bunch of proponents and propagandists or sensationalized media hacks, they continue to fail in almost every aspect, in almost every regard. Reference point, headline article, CBC News Montreal. Does Canada take the threat of far-right extremism seriously? Some experts say CSIS, Canada Security, our spy apparatus, the ones that are part of the Five Eyes, right? Since the Snowden revelations, those who have been illegally collecting, snooping on, spying on, invading on the privacy of Canadians and people from all over the Western world. Those types needs to make it a priority. So what this person is putting forth or suggesting is that they need the Stasi, right? Right? Think about it. They're basically suggesting, hey, we need to bring the security establishment in Canada to the forefront of combating what he perceives as far-right extremists. In reality, that's political doublespeak for anyone that's right of progressives or leftists or collectivists or feminists, right? We know exactly, anyone that pays attention nowadays, where the political divide, where that is, where that rests. So when you hear this kind of headline article, you know exactly the kind of people they're pointing to. And no, it's not extremists. When are you hearing, would we have our own chapter of KKK up here in Canada, right? Are you hearing a lot of these white supremacists or extremists? Are you hearing that? Is that so rampant to the point where you would feel a need or have a desire to bring in a security establishment in Canada, right? To put their big, heavy thumb of the state or be spying on or invading on the privacies of Canadians, right? Like I said, that could be anyone. That can include even people like myself. Because obviously I'm as far away as you could possibly get from what they would perceive as a right-wing extremist or like a national socialist, right? Or, I don't know. That's another thing. These terms that they use, it's so derogatory in nature and so misrepresentative of the reality of the facts on the ground. Because really what they're trying to say is anyone, like I say, that might even be construed as conservative, right? But the thing that these people don't understand, this is the part that I don't even understand, how they don't understand that if you're talking about white people and hating them for being nationalists, that means you have to be in complete opposition to our education system, to the very foundation of the country of Canada. That means you have to be completely rejecting of any statism completely. And if you are in that, but there you aren't, right? A contributor to the CBC, someone that writes for the CBC, how do they get their paycheck from? How is this person being paid this? Jonathan Montpetit. My small? Your small what? Anyways. But how does he get his paycheck? How is CBC paying him? Huh? Where does CBC get its funding? Through the wealth redistribution model. That's how our Canada's national broadcaster. Isn't it fucking hilarious? They're using Canada's national broadcaster, the CBC, right? Which, like I say, uses socialism, that forced wealth redistribution model, to pay the incomes of these people. But they're going to pretend that they're going against that kind of stuff. What? You're against Nazis? He's got a hat on backwards. This guy, there's a picture. I'll show it when I upload this video. I'll show it so you'll see. Showing a guy with a picture with his hat on backwards with the Nazi symbol, the swastika, and a round circle with the red mark through it, right? So no Nazis. No national socialism. So they're against national socialism. Meanwhile, CBC is Canada's national broadcaster that uses that socialist model as a means to an end, to pay for the people that it employed through that corporation. And that's another thing. It's a corporation, right? Even though it's a quasi branch of the government, they call it a corporation, right? Canada's broadcast corporation, and they're part of the government. They're paid through the wealth redistribution model. They're an arm of the government. They're a branch of the government. That seems awful National Socialist, right? That seems very much fascist. And just look up the meanings of these words and terms that gets tossed around. Just go to a dictionary. You know, there's lots of them out there. Merriam-Webster's, Oxford. There's even some of these new ridiculous, but at least there's some of them are fairly aligned with historical precedent as far as what true meanings and definitions of word mean. But just use the Google. Just use Google search terms, and you'll see, oh, wait, this is a complete contradiction already. And look, I haven't even started into the article, and we've already disproven any thesis or any theory that they're trying to present and put forth, right? So Jonathan, fail already. Sort of have to point that reality out for you, but you know, that's the thing. That's what people like me, I guess that's why people like me exist on this planet. So I can point out the kind of blatant hypocrisy and bullshit, lies, and propaganda put forth and presented by these people. And you know what? I don't even have to make a dime. And I won't stoop to that level to, you know, asking people or forcing, asking and force is a totally different scenario. But I would never want to force people to pay for me to spew anything, whether it's the truth or lies. The people that are going to watch my videos are going to get it free, for free, and with no bias involved. Someone that's much more objective, much more entrenched in reality than Jonathan could ever put forth, but he needed to get paid through that forced wealth distribution model to offer his opinion on the topic, right? See the glaring hypocrisy? See the discrepancy there? Despite the recent racist violence in the U.S. and an increase in right-wing extremist activity here in Canada, experts disagree about whether Ottawa should make such groups a national security priority. I'm sure there is a massive disagreement. And if you understood the things that they probably understand, whereas like, hey, how are we going to present that narrative? How are we going to present that dialogue, right? Doesn't that seem a little bit contradictory or counterproductive to our own premise, our own model, right? Our own particular business crony corporatist model, right? Since the September 11th attacks, Canada's intelligence community has devoted much of its attention to preventing Islamic terrorism. While right-wing extremism, including the activities of neo-Nazi and other racist groups, is monitored by CSIS and the RCMP, it doesn't receive the same amount of resources as threats from ISIS or Al-Qaeda. Gee, I wonder why that could possibly be, right? Because like I said, how they can't square that round peg, folks. Hey, you know, as much as you might like to think, well, you might be able to have that fucking retarded mentality, but there are a lot of people, right, that don't, and that's why you're not going to get, you know, these are, whether it's, you know, the military or the police in Canada, they're very much nationalist. Oh, shocking revelations there, Jonathan, mon petit. Mon petit what? Once again, I ask. Anyways, yeah, you're going to have a really difficult time trying to get the security establishment that gets paid by whom? How do they get paid? Oh, the National Socialist model, right? Fascism, the forced wealth redistribution model. And the police and military in Canada, how are they paid? Oh, that very same forced wealth redistribution National Socialist model. So it seems that you're probably going to have a little difficult time trying to turn those people against their own self-interest, right? This is the problem. This is what collectivism does, right? That's that race to the bottom, and they all want to participate in it, but it's like all they're doing is fighting amongst themselves, and even though they have their own particular echo chambers, if you look at them from afar, whether they're from the right or the left, fascist, communist, socialist, they're all collectivists, and their echo chamber, they're fighting back and forth, but they're still in the big picture perspective anyways, they're still in one big gigantic echo chamber, but they don't recognize it because as they're swooshing and swirling around in there and heading on down to the bottom and they're hearing all these varying voices, it's just, no, you're just arguing amongst each other. You just have different particular preferences in regards to your particular ideology and how you use the state to benefit you or the type that you associate with. So good luck. You're never going to get that kind of alignment. You're never going to get everybody on the same page. At best, this divisive, this identity politics that you're trying, at best, you just force everyone, instead of thinking that they're all functioning on the same team, or you're just forcing everyone to their own perspective corner in that echo chamber. Once again, it's still You still got people like me that are looking out from that macro perspective saying, hey, yeah, good luck with all that. Yet the outburst of deadly racist violence in Charlottesville, Virginia last weekend is not without parallels in Canada. Recent estimates suggest there are dozens of active white supremacists and neo-Nazi groups across the country. Yeah, because, their voices are really loud out there, right? The people are really... Look at all the KKK rallies that we're seeing, right? Yeah, look. Oh, did the Walmart or Home Depot sell out of citronella torches too? Come on, shut up. And actually, in reality, what you're really doing with this kind of presentation, with this idiot so stupid, these people, like I say, these people are so ideologically driven that they don't recognize their own stupidity, their own biases that skewers their vision. They're like blind fucking mice walking around like, and they don't even recognize it. Jeez. They advocate everything from biological racism to anti-Semitism to radical libertarianism. Oh, here we go. Oh, here we go, Jonathan Monpetit. So you're going to try to throw libertarians in there? Well, I'm glad you're at least using that term, that word, because it may be, well, some that will fall for your kind of bullshit rhetoric, yeah, we know where they'll stay. They'll remain in their stupid indoctrinated mentality and go along to get along with your stupid shit. But there are going to be some intelligent Canadians, and there are a fair amount of them here in Canada, believe you me, that will say, hey, what's this libertarianism? What are you talking about, radical libertarian? And they'll search that word. They'll search that term and they'll find out, wait a minute. Radical libertarianism. It seems like they're all talking about philosophical principles in regards to liberty as a subsequent fact and basis based on, the Enlightenment era and what it means to have true individual liberty and to be against forced subjugation, slavery, or serfdom, right? Those people, oh yeah, those radical libertarians that are saying, hey, don't use force and wealth redistribution and mysticism as a means to an end. Go out there and work hard yourself and do what's right. Be moral. Do what's just. Right? Be consistent in everything you do. Be principled in everything you do. Yeah. Oh yeah, those radical libertarians. What? Like me? Members of groups such as the Heritage Front, or Freemen of the Land. Oh Lord, Freeman. You can't. Those fucking freemen, man. Yeah, especially them freemans that just want to be left alone to their own device, right? Damn them fuckers. Hey, get out here and work for the state, or get out here so that at least I can goddamn well take a portion of your income, you fuckers, you selfish bastards, right? That's what this fucking Jonathan guy, that's his mentality. Yeah. And of course, contributing to CBC. Wow. And Blood and Honor have been charged with dozens of crimes, including murder, attempted murder, and assault. So who are these? Who are they? But it's just this group. Why don't you point? Why don't you name names, man? Because really, that's the way you do it. Then people can see who you're talking about. But if you just just paint with a broad stroke, whoosh, oh, look at all these guys. You see how that is? Identity politics? I mean, Jonathan's obviously this guy's a total ideologue. He's a total progressive collective ideologue that wants to put forth, present a narrative and a dialogue. And of course, CBC is more than willing to give him a platform, right? That basically, once again, uses that fucking bullshit that people are all about freedom. Oh, they're the worst people. Oh, you got to be careful of those fuckers that want freedom. No, join us, right? Authoritarians versus libertarians, he's saying, hey, us authoritarians, we know best. Forget those people that are all about freedom. They're vile. They're despicable. They want anarchy. They don't want us to have power and dominant and control over every aspect of their lives. Damn them. What a fucking, holy shit, man. Roughly 30 homicides in Canada since 1980. Look at that. Really? Roughly 30 homicides since 1980. Oh, let's start it out. 1980, so it's a decade to 1990, 2 decades to 2000, 3 decades to 2010, and 2017? Almost 4 decades. And there's only been 30 supposed homicides, but he's going to paint have been linked to individuals responsible for some form of extreme right-wing ideology. So, I mean, if you look through even those 30, you would find out, hey, wait a minute. These guys were probably going against the state, not against people. They weren't these people, these homicides probably had nothing to do with killing people that were just going about their daily lives, not fucking bothering with anyone, the non-political or apolitical type, the vast majority of Canadians. They might have very well used, violence against the state, which that's another thing. Is that offensive or defensive? I mean, you really have to understand what statism is all about and how the state enforces all their edicts to understand the true reality of, even if they did, and I'm not defending them because I don't know who the fuck these 30 homicides are, right? But if they were defending themselves against the state, really? Really? I mean, think about it. Yeah, no, I'm not going to read any more of this fucking bullshit article. That's all it took, right? A few paragraphs is all it needs from these pieces of shit. But I'll post a link to the article in the description of the video below so you can read the rest of it if you want to. If you want to get all the nuanced bullshit and fucking political talking points that this guy's put forth or presented. But you know damn well, this is someone that's all about statism and is completely against individual freedom and liberty. And the CBC, as we say, it's not even an opinion piece, right? He's a contributor to the CBC. It's not even put forth or present as an opinion piece, so they don't, necessarily align with it. This is the kind of narrative that they want to put forth and present. At this particular time, at this particular junction, Canada, pay attention. Listen up. It's Canadian Libertarian, and I love liberty.